Artificial intelligence development and applications have been growing at an exponential rate in the last couple of years. What only a decade ago used to be an obscure topic only talked about in science fiction contexts is making headlines all over the world today. In December of 2022, the world of art was shocked when people started posting pictures of professional-looking artworks that were completely created from artificial intelligence. This happened after the release of Stable Diffusion, a deep learning text-to-image model where it could create images based on text prompts. Today, the applications of generative AI have exploded into everything from text prompts in ChatGPT to ultra-realistic looking videos, becoming better each month since late 2022. At this rate, who knows where AI will be in a couple of years, as these applications of the technology are just beginning. Also, I want to give my perspective on the risks of these tools because, as we will see soon, there are a lot of drawbacks of these issues about the ethical implications, and that's what we're going to go for today and how it impacts artists and everyday people alike. A way that AI-generated art is created is through Generative Adversarial Networks, or GANs, which is a class of machine learning frameworks that can create images based on data. Three examples of AI deep learning models that are being used for AI-generated art are Midjourney, DALL-E, and Stable Diffusion. Generative models rely on data sets to train themselves to whatever task you give them, and that is something that is key for this discussion. Back in December, people pointed out that some of the artworks generated by these deep learning models looked off in many ways, especially when creating artworks featuring people. A lot of the facial features were strange. Things like the position of limbs, teeth, smiles, and facial expression had blatant anatomy mistakes or just downright looked bad. I remember the hands used to have like extra fingers and people had weird faces going on, and for me that was pretty amusing. But since then we've seen so many advances of this technology in AI that it's just becoming scary. A recent example has to do with Sora, which is a new product from OpenAI that does these generative AI videos, and it just seems so realistic that I didn't really realize that it was generated by AI, and who knows where the future might lead us in a couple of years. Since last year, these mistakes have been fixed, some of the issues have been patched out, and each day these technologies are getting better, which is something to consider when talking about this topic and realize that there is really no going back. Of course, the debate around generative AI has to do mostly with the way that it impacts everyday people, mainly artists and creatives, but also the average user of artificial intelligence today. There are many issues that I would love to cover in future videos, such as plagiarism with ChatGPT, or even AI-assisted therapy and girlfriends, which might impact the mental health of a lot of people, and that is a topic that I'm really passionate about because it affects everybody, including you and me. But first, let's focus on the topic of art, because this is something that I've also been really interested in, and also the way that it impacts friends that are artists and how it is gonna shape the future of art in general. Many people consider AI-generated art as something that has no value, or that it degrades art as a whole. The opponents of AI-generated art argue that it is not the same thing to spend years refining one's craft to simply giving a prompt to the artificial intelligence system. But it doesn't only take away opportunities that would otherwise benefit artists, but many argue that AI-generated art directly steals people's work without them knowing. In 2022, many people discovered that many of the images being generated by AI looked like their own art style, and even contain unintelligible squiggles on the side that were obviously supposed to be the artist's signatures. Many artists were angry with this, and for good reason. The same way we consider plagiarism a serious subject, we should hold the same standard of integrity when it comes to artificial intelligence generated art. Also, recently many lawsuits have been filed against companies such as Midjourney, which shows that people are starting to feel the impacts of these technologies. As we have seen, there are many reasonable and valid concerns when it comes to AI. However, I think that limiting a technology's public use or outright banning it is never a good idea. Instead, we should seek to explore more ethical paths when it comes to AI implementation and also using new technologies. So what are the paths that we can take to ensure a more ethical future when this technology is more widely used? So, with everything that we know about AI-generated art, is there a way that we can implement this technology while being sure it is used ethically? As with many new technologies and revolutions, there's a high chance of it being used for wrong purposes when there is no regulation and no discussion about these topics. Many people argue that if AI art is used at all, it should only be used as a tool for inspiration or practice. The same way technologies such as ChatGPT can be used as a supplementary source for writing an investigation. The key is to balance the way these tools are used without falling into plagiarism. Another solution is to receive the artist's consent when it comes to using their artworks or data training. By agreeing to use them or receiving compensation every time they are used, it can be ensured that AI is used in a consensual way. Some interesting examples come from artists such as Grimes, who explicitly allows or even encourages using her voice in songs. Another way to ensure ethical use has to do with a strong principle in AI development culture of transparency and traceability when it comes to how these systems work. So now I'm going to give my own personal view about this topic. A couple of years ago, I thought it was too early to give my own judgment about how these technologies are being used, about the development, but over the last year, I've seen like so many ways that AI has been used for great and amazing things, and also the ways it has been used also for really bad and nasty things. For example, I think that technology being used in a reckless and rushed way can lead to a lot of really bad things, such as the deepfake situations. Also, for example, the way that AI is impacting mental health, the way it's being developed in a way that we can't understand what is going on. So I think that some regulation has to be put in place. However, I also think that it can have a lot of really great applications. I think about the applications of AI in medicine, the way it's being used to research diseases, the way that generative AI is used to increase productivity, and some other really great applications that have the capacity to help us do things in a much more faster way. I really think that there is no going back with this technology, and that is why conversations like this one are important in order to debate ideas, to realize the risks. Because I remember there was a lot of really fiery debate. Some people argue that it should be like outright banned, that AI use was evil no matter what, and I really disagreed with that. I think there's some really good applications, but I feel like also people who dehumanize artists, who also plagiarize without any shame, is also wrong. So I think there should be like a middle point, like I said before, as a way to use it as a tool, as an inspiration, instead of using as a way to just copy and pass work as your own that is being generated by AI. I think that in time, people will reach conclusions where users, AI developers, and artists will agree on, where human artists' work is respected while these tools are available and usable for a diverse list of purposes. For me, generating artworks from prompts and talking to ChatGPT has been amazing and fun, not only by seeing what these tools are capable of, but by exploring the limits of what is currently possible with AI. I believe that anyone can enjoy these benefits without trying to sell these artworks or passing them off as your own. So what are your thoughts on AI generated art? Is it valid? Does it have a future among artists and regular people alike? What do you think about my concerns in this video? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like it, please like, share, and subscribe, and also check out my other videos on more interesting topics in AI, on philosophy. Check out my podcast, which I'm just starting right now in English and Spanish. It's going to be full of really amazing guests. And yeah, that's pretty much everything for this video. So anyways, see you guys around and have an amazing day.